Although we're still a fledgling podcast, we've tackled a variety of topics in our first 3 months. All will help your health and well-being in some way. Hi everyone, Lovoni here, and welcome to Lovoni and Sarah podcast. In this episode, Sarah and I are recapping previous episodes, which episodes had the most impact for us and your favourites, as well as sharing where we're at in our weight loss and health journey. Because we're recording back-to-back episodes, we don't have our usual goals to share for the last week, so we'll just dive right in. Sarah, do you have a favourite standout episode?
In true Sarah style, I can't stick with one.
That's good.
It is. I think they've been really, really helpful, all of them, for different reasons, haven't they? But I'm going to pick one of the list that I have at the moment, just from one of the earlier ones, and that was the most important relationship you have with yourself. And I think from that one, I use it regularly in my own mind of just reminding myself of my own value, because it's so easy, isn't it, to get lost in the sort of the drudge of the everyday and caring for the family and getting all the chores and the tasks done, and you sort of lose your own identity a little bit, and you, as we talked about back in that episode, put yourself down on the importance list, and all of a sudden you just feel a bit lackluster. So I use that episode and everything we talked about in there to remind myself of my own value and try to put myself at the top of that list, even just occasionally, and just use the word no occasionally, to sort of say no, kitchen shuts, if you want it, go and get it yourself, type of sort of scenario, right, rather than constantly running around. So I think if we do this as a tag team, I'm going to go with that as my first. I'm going to put that as my first one.
Okay.
Of saying, what about you? If you had to pick one, what's your very top?
My very top was the Clear Space, Clear Mind episode.
Yeah, I would love that one too.
Yeah, I think people, well, not everybody, I think a lot of people underestimate the importance of not having clutter around them. Mm-hmm. What it does to your mind, and people might think, well, this is a podcast about health and well-being. How can that, help? But I think that the less distractions that you have and clutter and things about you when you go into this journey of losing weight or just getting, healthier, or both, the better it is. And so just to remind people, for people that may not have ever listened along the way and are just tuning in now, what I did was, this wasn't something I came up with myself, it came from a website called Minimalista, I think, Minimalista. It's a show on Netflix, and they talked about, well, they did a thing, I think it was last September, where they challenged people to write the numbers down from 1 to 30, because that was in September. I did this in February, so I wrote the numbers down from 1 to 28, and I put them in a jar, and each day I would pick out a number. And whatever the number was, I would have to purge that amount of things, corresponding things. So, easy when you get one. A little different when you get, I seem to get all the big numbers right off the bat.
Straight away, you got them straight away.
Yeah. Excuse me. And at the end of that time, what you're left with, you've purged about 400 or so things. And I would have done more than that, because once I got, into a cupboard or whatever, and if my number is 11 for that day, then there was more than, 11 things in there I wanted to get rid of. But it really made me stop and think, I've had this for years. I've moved it, not only states, I've moved it countries, and I don't use it. I don't even like it that much. And I have, a lot of props and things for my food photography. So, and I tend to use the same sort of things. I have very neutral palette. So if I didn't love it, if it didn't have some really strong sentimental, reason to keep it, or if it wasn't useful in some way, then it pretty much went. And I, instead of just piling the stuff up I wanted to donate, in a corner somewhere, what I would do is every couple of days, because I had a lot of stuff there, I would run the stuff down to like a halfway house type thing, and donate it to them, for them to either put in their shop and sell, or for them to help people that were coming through their doors. So that was good. And then what I did on the last day was wrote a list of things. I tend to hang on to stuff, and I think that has definitely contributed to my weight gain. Like I hang on to things, as I said, and I wrote a list down and I burnt it. And when I burnt it, I did a little video and I sent it to Sarah, and Sarah was like, wow, that was a lot of stuff. And I said, that was 5 decades of shit that I got out. But ever since then, I'm honest to God, I have not gone back and thought of those things.
It's worked.
It has worked. It was like a cleanse in my house, and it was a cleanse of all the crap that was holding me back, and I was holding on to, and that resentment and all the rest of it. I just did like a major purge, and I've had people that have listened to that episode reach out to me and say, some of them were kind of a little cranky because they're like, I listened to that, and then I had to just go and start cleaning out drawers and things, But I think for me, I've had the most response to that episode from people than I have from any of them.
Really well liked.
Yeah. So, I
mean, I can still feel definitely now.
Yeah.
The works that I've sort of said is, cleaning out kitchen cupboards or kitchen drawers and things. Even now, when I go to open them, it's still really pleasing to see how organised
they are. Oh, it's so nice.
So what it does, it just makes everything so much easier. So I can, as we said at the time, I can see things easily. I can choose what I want easily. So the resistance is so far less, so much less, because it's just simple to go and get what I want, or see what food I have on my lazy Susan in my cupboard.
Right.
I can turn it round easily. So it really has made a difference. And, even my son getting things out of the cupboard has remarked how easy it is. So
to find things.
It's something that just keeps on giving and helping. Right. It's not just a moment when you do the tidying or the clearing. It makes a massive difference, doesn't it, to then how you live your life going forward once it's been done.
Because to me, doing that, then I wasn't going to go out and just buy a whole lot more stuff.
No.
So it's helping me just simplify things, and and I continue to do that on an ongoing basis. Just, if I want something, really, do I need that?
Yeah.
Do I need 4 of that?
Mine's more ongoing anyway, because I didn't do it in the jar approach just because I've got so much going on. So, but I'm still because I'm still going through my office and sorting that. So at the weekend, loads and loads and loads of shredding, sorting through things, getting rid of it. That whole concept of, if I was going to move, would I take it with me? If it's a no, then it's got to go, because what's the point in hanging on to it? So that's how I'm trying to make some difficult but firm, decisions about what I'm keeping. If I was to move away, would I take it with me? No, right, it's going to go then. So, I'm still working through, so mine's a bit more piece by piece. And then, like you said, I've got a few piles at the moment of things that I need to take to the charity store or try and sell or take to recycling, but it's all getting organised. So I'm kind of in that slight muddle phase at the moment where I'm still working through it all. But every hour that I spend feels like a massive step forward, because I'm like, that's gone now.
It's very liberating.
About it. And the shredded paper, because I've got lots of it from my business, so the shredded paper we use for lighting the log burner, the stove in the evening, so none of it's getting wasted. It's all getting sort of being used or recycled in some way or another. So it feels good, isn't it? The feeling that it gives you just cleanses and clarifies everything, and as you then said, creates a bit of mental space for then thinking about other things.
I said to my husband the other day, I'm not going to buy any new clothes this summer, because I tend to just sort of update, just, add a few more pieces to my wardrobe with the seasons. But this summer, because I, am losing weight, focused on losing weight, I've kept stuff in smaller sizes, right or wrong, whatever. Only things that I absolutely love. And so I'm just not going to buy anything. If I don't
Nope.
fit into stuff, tough. I just have to
Wear what you've got.
wear what I've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good
we talked about that
money-saving
using up
thing
things,
too.
isn't it? Like using up all the sort of the beauty products that
All
we've
the
got. I'm still
bits and
working my way
pieces.
through that.
Yeah.
End of bubble baths and, getting through all of that.
Right.
And then once it's clear, then you can then think about doing a light restock rather than having... Plus also you get gifts, don't you? Christmas, birthdays, whatever. Then sometimes that's the sort of thing that restocks it without... You don't need great reams of stuff to sort of always have in your shelves, so it's a good way of then trying to keep on top of it. So it does work.
It's that I think has fundamentally helped me a lot, is doing that. What's your second? Do you have a second?
Well, that was on my list, so that's good. So we can share that as a definite inspiration.
Right.
The routine, I think, is my second. The mindset of routine was an episode that really, really stayed with me. I find myself not always in my routine, so I have sort of fallen off or out of it sometimes. But I try to reset, refocus, think of the routine again. Like we said, then go back into the habit from it. When I feel out of control, I try and use it as a tool to help me feel back in control again. So I think the mindset of routine would be my second favourite.
I liked that one. That was a good one. I'm just trying to... What was my second favourite? Routine is on there, but the food and mood.
Yeah,
that one has helped me a lot, because the food that the food that's good for the brain and the gut is, good wholesome stuff that's also going to help with the weight loss journey. So I've been really focused on that, and I've just over the last couple of days shot a whole lot of different recipes that I'm going to upload and share with people too on our new website, which will be released here soon. Just some really good recipes. So I've really been conscious about, adding the fish, making sure I'm having some nuts and seeds every day, just a little bit. The berries, the purple veggies, the purple fruits, the greens. I went to the Asian market and bought some Asian greens. So just being really sort of focused on that rather than focusing on the losing weight thing, just focusing on...
That's the thing, I think, for me. Yeah, it's definitely impacted me too. It's not so much in the losing weight or the, trying to cut back type of scenario, but just it's more of the adding. I've been trying to add those things into what I'm eating or making those choices. So we ate out the weekend just gone for an Indian restaurant on the Friday night, and we made really tasty but also some additional choices in there. So we chose an aubergine dish and things with some lentils in. So even within that choice, which, it's an eating out, it's not the healthiest of meals, having an Indian meal, but we chose biryani. Yeah, we had biryani, so it didn't have loads of extra sauce on, those things. But oh my God, the taste, my mouth's watering. It was so good. We did try one that we weren't so keen on. It was one that sounded great. We both love beetroot, and it was a beetroot side dish. We tried it. It wasn't our favourite, but even then it was quite nice to have something different on the plate. We shared, and it's definitely influencing my choices and the way that I'm thinking about what I'm choosing to eat, most definitely since we did that episode. Right. So it's made a big impact with me.
Oh, it makes a huge impact, not just for, not just for the mood and... your brain's health overall, but for your gut too, being regular. So definitely that one for me. Do you have a third?
Yeah, my third was the power of optimism and courage. I think with the research that I did for that episode and the general feeling of of the conversation throughout it really lifts me, and actually I genuinely find it inspirational. So at times when I feel like I've lost my way a little bit or not doing it in the way that I want to do it, I think back to that, and it really does go, come on, focus, you can do this, think of all the things you've done before,
re-listen to it or something. It's
not easy, is it, just to make choices sometimes that are the healthy choices for your end destination are the right choices, but what you really want to do right now is sometimes the exact opposite of that. So it takes a lot of strength of mind to make some of these choices sometimes. So yeah, the optimism and courage and determination and perseverance that we talked about in that episode definitely is something I keep reaching back to, thinking over, trying to remind myself and refocus my mind on what I'm doing.
What Sarah and I are going to do too on the new website is we're going to do like recaps of these episodes as well. So I'm working on the routine, and I'm just going to run through it on the website, what I've done, and also the clear space, clear mind. I'm going to run through that one. Sarah's done routine. Sorry, I meant clear space, clear mind. I'm doing that, and the food and mood. And I'm also going to go through what I eat in a day. I'm going to put that down as well for people to have a look at, and then they'll be able to access the recipes too and see that. So these episodes that we that we've found particularly helpful, we will have up on the new website, but we'll let you know that when they're there, and we'll definitely be promoting that, the website.
I think the feedback as a general that's come through to me from all of the episodes, or the ones that people have listened to, is the fact that they've decided to make some small changes to their life, which is great. Regardless of which episode it is or what change they're trying to make, they have been inspired to make some changes because of what they've listened to. So I think that's really, really empowering, isn't it? The fact that they've listened. So whether they're getting up and exercising a little bit more, or just walking around a bit more, making some different food choices, just taking more note of their overall health and well-being, has come from listening to our conversations. And the different content in each episode we always knew that people are going to take slightly different things from each one compared to what perhaps we're feeling or thinking. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it, that everyone's going to take their own point of view and take on it. But that's the feedback that I've had come back from it, is that people have actually changed what they're doing.
And something that struck me just then when you were talking was that the small changes too, because that's what it is. Yeah. Just all these small changes, just they build a foundation. And that's what I have found. Just on a day-to-day thing, I can look and think, oh, well, you didn't do that great, Lovoni, or you could have done better. But then I think, well, no, I have made all these small changes. One thing was, you were saying that the routine was one that you really liked. Yep. And that was on my list as well. And what I have found, because working for yourself, you know what it's like. You don't always have I didn't always have necessarily a set time to get out of bed. I tried to do that when my husband left the house in the morning, which was at 5:30. But, sorry, I'm sitting here, just making sure.
I'm like watching you. You're looking at
I know, because...
What are you doing?
I'm just looking at the trees and the wind. And before I took my headphones off, because I wanted to make sure I could hear the tornado siren if it went off. Yeah, it's really bad out there.
Oh, gosh, really?
Yeah.
Where do you go? Just so that I know.
So we have a basement... And but in order to get down there, like, you've got to raise the steps up, right? But in order to raise the steps up, you've got to move the handrail. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I mean,
and you've got to take the dog.
Oh God, of course, yeah. But anyway, fingers crossed that doesn't happen. It's just wind. Okay. Yeah, sorry to just
I suddenly see you dash off.
Right, yes, if I suddenly...
Don't worry.
But for the routine one, what recording that one really helped me with is that I have an alarm set, it goes off, and I get out of bed. There's no, I just want to stay here for a bit. Even if I've had a crap sleep, like I have been having this week, I still get up and get going on it. If nothing else that day, I've started my day early and I've exercised. They are just, they have been two constant things since we recorded that one, and that was quite early in the piece.
It was, yeah.
So that, I mean, the whole thing of routine, maybe it sounds, a bit droll, but that has helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. Like you said, like brushing your teeth, you just do it. And so that's like me. I just do it. 6, I'm up, clothes on, exercise. Done. I'm good. So, yeah, that definitely has helped a lot as well. Yeah. So, any others that stand out for you?
I think we've probably chosen pretty much the same, really. I mean, they all have. They've all added something into the way that I think. I know you said about guilt trip. That was something that sat with you, didn't it?
Because Sarah said she doesn't feel guilty for anything. I feel guilty for everything.
I think that was probably a bit of a sweeping statement for me. I mean, I do, particularly if I've said something that didn't come out in the way that I meant it to, or I feel like I've let someone down. But as a general rule, with most things, I don't have that element of guilt that sits on my shoulders all the time. But it was different for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't even know where this came from, and I think, and I talked about it in this particular episode. It was episode, what was it? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I think it was episode 9. Yeah, 9. Guilt trip. I talked about my father left when I was about 7. And, I think knowing what I know now about, just psychiatry and guilt and learning about that, mm-hmm. I think that started from a very young age because of that.
Yeah.
Where I was obviously too young to recognize it, but I think. Hi, Lovoni here. Unfortunately, a big storm ripped through where I live here in Indiana and took out our power, which meant no Wi-Fi. So this killed the conversation Sarah and I were having during episode 16. We were in the middle of doing a recap of the first season of the podcast, of the episodes, which ones were some of our favourites. Anyway, well, losing power killed that. So I just wanted to apologise for that, and I hope everybody will, maybe go back and give each episode a listen. We are going to take a 2-week break. Thank you for listening. As always, we hope you found our episodes helpful in some way. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Lovoni and Sarah. Let us know if there's any subject you'd like to chat about. Also, our website is Lovoni, Lovoni, and Sarah.com. So please go on there and subscribe. We will be sending out, like freebies from time to time. And you can keep update with what episodes we're doing, what's coming up. Anyway, I want to thank you for supporting us over the last few months. Remember, the best of your life is ahead of you. And we're here to help you get started. So what do you say we all do this together and help each other find that sparkle and joy? Take care, and we'll chat to you in 2 weeks.